This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. Hello, everyone. We are very, very happy in this new encounter with artists, this time with Randi Matushevitz and with Renata Maria Gogol. We are very proud and very honored for us to be here with you and share your work with the rest of our friends and colleagues and family, really. So welcome to everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, well,
We
start with Randi. Please.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well, Randi Matushevitz is a multidisciplinary artist based in LA. She holds an MFA in painting from the University of Miami. Her artwork is collected in the US and abroad. Her exhibition history includes galleries, art fairs, cultural centers, and museums in New York, Miami, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Buenos Aires, Xalapa, Jerusalem, Venice, and Berlin. Exhibition highlights include works from the permanent collection, MOAH, Lancaster, California, 2022, Projecting Possibilities, Health Design Center, 2021, Hobson's Choice, TAM, Torrance, 2020, Future Gaze, Justin Bauer and Randi Matushevitz, Coagula Curatorial, LA, in California, 2019, We Are Humanity, Giudecca Art District, Venice, Italy, 2019, and the Enter Foundation in Berlin, 2018. Public acquisition include Museum of Art and History in Lancaster, Cleveland Clinic, Lou Rubo Brain Center, Las Vegas, the Barrick Art Museum, Las Vegas Art Museum Collection, UNLV, and the Enter Art Foundation in Berlin. Well, Randi, welcome, and we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. When I was first got an email from Andrea and Gabriel, I didn't know what to expect. And then I see Jane Sabos in the audience, and we happened to confer about it. And I knew she had worked with you guys before. And I jumped in, not knowing what would this Caves Traces seminar be. But it sounded, intriguing, and it kept calling me. And I want to say that I found it very transformative. And that's what I want to share with you, this digging into the unknown that this opportunity provides, no matter what the overarching theme is of that particular seminar, just is quite challenging and invigorating. So I thought I would start with the end and then lead you to how I got through the process. So you could, because what I came up with, even though I do have some video background, it's more where I animate my paintings, or something like the work behind you, which is my main practice, this large scale mixed media drawing, the challenge to, do it in a way you haven't done before. And I was like, well, the only thing I haven't done before and what's at my fingertips without picking up charcoal or paint was my phone, which I think a lot of artists find their phone is very handy in this unknown situation. We have our voice, we have some words and thoughts and feelings, and that overarching goal was to tap into a feeling you can name or not name, and then make something in a way you wouldn't normally work. And so if we can go to the page, okay. I'll talk more as you pull it up. So in our Caves seminar, we started with this wonderful introduction to the cave paintings that are in Cantabria. And at that time, I had been doing a lot of soul seeking. So that's good. I think, yes, let's stay with the words first. So to kind of give you the end before the beginning, but keeping in mind my own personal journey of excavation since this theme of death I had gone through for about a decade. There was just a lot of death in the family around me as a caretaker. And there was a real gritty sense of just void. And the wonderful conversations with Gabriel and Andrea and the group, the small group that we get to be, allowed me to start to share that there has been all of this kind of emptying. And so I wound up exploring, as we were told, to what nature was around me. And I looked in my backyard because I live in a city in Los Angeles, on a city kind of suburb street, which is not a suburb, but a city residential area. And there's not a lot of nature right here. So I looked in my backyard and I found what I thought might be dead, but there used to be plants in the pots of soil, and there they were. And that's what I said, this is what I'm curious about. So the words in the end that meet the video, which we'll play in a second: sowing excavation, withered, cracked, smoky colored, gritty and crumbling dry, diminished, potential silent and soft, a cool cocoon, velvety, embryonic, inherited phantoms, seen and unseen fade, a glimmer yet to come. So let's play the video.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that was I hope you that was a little bit of a lag, but I think it still suits. So I'd like to share my screen now.
Perfect. So let me stop sharing. Yes.
I just thank you for your patience. So you'll see from all of this that the conversations became about, you know, this digging. I just wanted to dig when I saw the caves. And what I wanted, so what you see here is my backyard. You see some 3 still shots from video where I'm exploring these planters. Some have stuff in them, others are, I wonder if it's alive. Nothing's been in the soil since COVID. You know, is it alive? And I really explored it with my fingers and wondering about the thistles and the green. These are the words written before, way before the poem, before I started taking pictures, you know, from our first, these feelings in me. I had been on a residency and in big nature, and I felt myself just evaporate into the land, and what that was. And these words, you can see, again, the withered, the crack, the compression, what this soil felt like what the emotion felt like, then it matched the soil. The silence is the soil silent. We're hidden, but here I was breathing. So again, the grittiness, the ether, the air, so feeling cocooned. And the process of this exploration allowed me to consider rebirth. After I put my hands in the pot, this pot's by my front door, so you could see it's a very small pot. I decided that I would not only bury myself in it to see if it was cool, and it was, I would stand in it, I would throw the dirt on myself. And this is a hint of how it went. And I really tried to be free in the dirt I had right next to me, which led us to the poem. So I think what I want to share from all that is this experience in this seminar, tapping into this unknown, creating my own kind of documentary of processing that I'm here. I took care of my mother in my home for 5 full years and realized I had been taking care of her since my father had died in one way, and even there are other stories from before that. And this real excavation of myself. And I did have a very difficult pregnancy, which left a lot of internal scarring. And it was like, why am I bent over? Why do I have spinal, the challenges. And after I took it outside of myself, I said, we all have these. And this is the one thing that's the same since the cave paintings. This human experience of just no one goes, all the feels, the good ones, the bad ones. And we left the seminar focusing on rebirth, which is kind of this, well, it's behind me, I put it here, but this, you can't see the whole thing, but this is my main practice, but the thoughts are still here. And I'm hoping to actually come out and be in the caves eventually and work that out. But it was a very transformative experience, and it was on Zoom, and I never imagined I'd get so much from this and the new community. So thank you.
Many thanks, Randi, for your words and for your work, really. Many thanks. So we continue with Renata.
Well, Renata Maria Gogol, born in 1994 in Poland, graduated from the Faculty of Art at the Maria Curie. Bueno, que me cuesta. You Renata, can say much better than me. Klodowska University, where she continues her study at the Doctoral School of Humanities and Art. She received part of her education at the Graphics Department of the National Academy of Arts in Sofia and at the Department of Global Politics and Economics of Tankan University in New Taipei. Renata creates mainly graphics and works on paper, usually presenting experimental approaches to traditional techniques. Participant of many exhibitions in Poland and abroad. Renata, welcome and many thanks.
Thank you very much. And since the stage is mine already, I'd like to share the screen with you as well. Yes. Excuse me, entire screen. And now, are you seeing my presentation right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's back from the end. Okay. Oh, I don't know why it started from the end. I didn't want to start from the end like Randi. Yes. Oh, that was not my plan. I wasn't trying on copying you, Randi, but here we are. All right. So in the very beginning of the seminar, after the introduction about the cave painting, we were asked to think about a feeling or emotion, and then a waiting came to my mind. And although it may seem like a completely passive activity, At a first glance, upon a deeper reflection, it turned out to me that awaiting is a really complex thing and can contain lots of different intense emotions. It can be an impatient anticipation or waiting in tranquility or excitement, waiting in a joy for what's to come, or fear and anxiety about it. And ultimately, it's all about the hope. And I tried to feel it synesthetically as well, just like Randy said. And for me, awaiting took the color of a cool, muted grace. And if it was a sound, I would hear it as the rhythmical murmuring of waves of the sea. And it reminded me of a situation when earlier this year, on one of the weekends, I visited my family's farm, my soon-to-be family's farm in Taiwan, when I saw papaya trees for the first time in my life. And of course, you can imagine, as for me, the girl from the north, it was a huge attraction. And the trees already had fruits, the ones you can see, slightly larger than my fist. And I was told that probably when we're gonna come back the following weekend, they should be ready to eat. So you can imagine my excitement. But then the next weekend came and the same thing was said to me, and a week after, and a week after. Just as if the trees really sensed my impatience, and maliciously, or just like the nature was trying to teach me a little bit of humbleness, they tried to ripen more slowly. And however, what fascinated me the most about this whole situation, I think, was that the papaya trees were blooming and bearing fruits at the same time. As you can see on the picture, this is the close-up on the flowers, and they smell exactly like the fruit. Which is incredible. It is incredibly beautiful, intense, and sweet. And I thought of it as a lesson in being present, anticipating the right here, right now, instead of living in a constant awaiting for the future, for what's about to come. The fragrance sweetens the time of awaiting and gives a little bit of positive enforcement to cope with all of the activities associated with nourishing the plant to get the fruits somewhere in the future. And eventually, I have managed to transform this impatience of mine into some sort of kind acceptance, to appreciate the process, and above all, redirect my attention to something else, the shared care for the farm that we had all together, and not only as a mean, but also as a goal. Just like with the papaya in life, there will most likely never be a moment when we sit down, all the tasks are completed, we enjoy the fruits of our life's works. Same in our lives, there will be no fanfare when we check off everything on the list, what goes by the definition of having a successful, satisfying life. Of course, we can just maybe mark a few culminating points, but definitely they will overlap with other ongoing tasks. And here it's going to be the same. At best, we will sit down for a moment on the slope of the mountain that our farm is in and eat the papaya, but in reality, we'll be just taking a little break from other work. And in all this, it's not even about the fruits themselves. It's about sitting together and enjoying the results, because after all, it's not about what we have, but whether we have someone to share it with. So when I took the course when I was there back in Taiwan, doing the research internship at one of the universities, while at the same time getting to meet my soon-to-be family, it gave me an opportunity to get to know each other during the weekends. And I was fascinated by the opportunity that Andrea and Gabriel gave me, and to go through the process of creation with their guidance. It was completely new to me. And as I guess, it was not my case, but also a lot of other participants going through the seminar. I felt like some sort of inner obligation to try out a new method of creation as well. Because when we are, let's say, grown artists, we don't have a wise professor above us, and such a convenience to have somebody honest to help us out during the process. It's truly priceless. And for the reason of the place I was in this particular moment, naturally my eyes turned to Chinese ink painting. And surely you know the typical representations of this technique. Usually there are some mountains, rather hostile yet glorious, some trees, sometimes along presented with some wise quote about the nature and the meaning of life. And I am showing you this cliche example to present a vivid contrast with the approach of Yu Kuo-sung, whose exhibition experimentation as a method I have encountered in National Gallery, Singapore. And now this elderly professor back in the day, a youthful student, along with his friends in Taipei, has decided to revolutionize the conservative approach to these ancient stylistics. And what was truly exceptional about them was the creative perspective and on the possibilities offered by the simplest tools in the world, which was just ink and paper. And Professor Kuo-sung created several methods of expression, and unfortunately, he was not my professor and I was not his student, and I couldn't learn directly for him. And what I did instead is I found myself in the museum standing there with my nose almost pressed against the screen of the TV, trying to catch a glimpse of the artist's technique in the video interview from his studio, which was included in the exhibition. And I managed to come up with a few ideas. So when I returned to my makeshift Taiwanese studio, I began working. And this is one of my first works, and probably I shouldn't even admit how barbaric my first attempts were. Because, for example, I used highly concentrated white nights watercolor instead of ink due to lack of art supply shop in the area and my impatience to start right away. And also I tried various papers with different textures, compositions, thickness. But however, I'd like to show you the video of how I was doing it. The main idea is to have as large as possible flat container filled with water and painting with ink on the water surface, placing the paper on the top, and then the ink will transfer from the water surface onto the paper. And my first attempts were, well, of course, rather unsuccessful, but luckily not terrible enough to extinguish my enthusiasm. And as I experimented myself, I started discovering what worked and what not, and how can I improve my process, make it more convenient and more efficient. Well, the range of artistic expression tools I could use also expanded as I got more practice. And besides pouring the ink, I could also paint with brush on the water, spray the ink, or spray clean water. And by controlling the placement of the paper on the water, moving it, creating some air bubbles, I reached the point you can see on the website. And I can tell that a week between each sessions during the seminar is just the perfect period because it allows to reflect a little bit on the task we were given, getting to work, thinking it through, maybe making some adjustments, and then putting all the work together. And I have found a lesson of great value in pouring the ink, learning to control it, and most important of all, accepting what I cannot control in this technique and finding the beauty in the outcome, even though it might depart from my previous expectations. Because it teaches humbleness, it teaches positive attitude and hopeful attitude. And I have noticed that it also aligns a little bit with the idea of my doctoral work, which revolves around the issue of scars. Also, here, just like with our skin and scars, once ink is spilled, it leaves us with very little room for maneuver corrections. We have to work with what it is. Same with our skins, with our scars. Once we have them on our skin, there is not much we can do about it. And the title, Salt Water, is I have chosen it because I was there thousands of miles away from my home of origin, my family of origin. I was living there on an island surrounded by salt water, and it also brings some memories of my experiences couple of years back. And final touches on these artworks have been completed in April, yet now in June, when I can look at it with a little bit of perspective, I can see a bit deeper what was in me when I was creating those. Because a few years ago, due to an accident, I was taken to an emergency room with quite a large third-degree scars. And I wasn't allowed to take a shower due to medical reasons for a couple of days. And finally, and it was during the summer, so of course it was a huge inconvenience. And finally, when I got a green light to take a shower from my surgeon, it was nothing of a relief of getting clean like I was expecting, because just the plain water on my wound felt like salty seawater. And afterwards, I was applying a really expensive medication with ions of silver. So therefore, those teeny tiny shiny pieces of silver I have applied to my work. And all that created on a Japanese tissue, just as thin and just as ivory as my skin. And I didn't do that purposely, or even, here's the close-up for the work. And I didn't do that purposely or even consciously. It was my intuition that was guiding me. Yet still, I think it's not far from the conscious subject I have chosen to work on. Because healing is a difficult process that requires lots of patience. Same like my situation back in Taiwan, uniting two families together. It also can be work. It can be a hard work sometimes, because especially when coming from such a diverse backgrounds. And when two people love each other, when they choose to spend their lives with each other, their love must be strong enough to survive those challenges. Because welcoming new people into the family is an enormous change in the very basic matter of life. Just like going through a painful process of healing a wound and learning how to live in a changed body. And what was extremely valuable for me in this seminar was this conscious guidance through the entire creative process. And I highly recommend it, especially to artists who, like me, create their works strongly intuitively, not knowing where the ideas come from within us. And the creative process is like being a leaf flowing on the current of river. And God forbid, we don't have to be always a salmon swimming against the stream, fighting the element. But rather what I mean is for this leaf to gain awareness, and if necessary, to realize that it is actually a butterfly that disguises itself as a leaf. And if it only feels the need, it can fly whenever it pleases. And during the seminar, Andrea and Gabriel, you gave me the seed that I could plant wherever I wanted. And you supported during the entire process of nurturing and growing the artwork. And it may sound somehow dramatic, but well, this is who we are, artists. We are a little bit of emotional exhibitionists. In a certain way, going through this seminar, this process can be a little bit painful, like a psychotherapy, because perhaps for the first time, creativity for me was not just the pleasure of getting rid of what I had in me, what I wanted to throw away, because it also involved looking into all those pieces during the process, those pieces of me, those pieces of my life, to decide whether if it's just a garbage, just a ballast that is just slowing me down and I should rather throw it away, or this is something actually valuable that I want to carry within me. And during this seminar, many of us has decided to speak about something difficult for us, to share some deeply rooted desires, which, as we know from our artistic practice, is even putting ourselves more vulnerable than even standing naked in front of our audience. And this is why it was so important to go through this process with wise, kind, and trustworthy people. And furthermore, I have an impression that this process is somehow foolproof. And regardless of my skills, participating in this seminar guarantees the creation of at least decent work. Well, and I hope that my work do not make an exception from this rule. Thank you.
Many thanks, Renata. Many thanks.
Many thanks. Many
You are lovely, really lovely.
Thank you very much.
We are open please open the microphones and welcome everyone to talk with Renata and Randi. Anik is the first. Okay, Anik.
Everything was very fast.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I always say it is a privilege to witness the process of the creative process of an artist. So today we were so lucky to have Randi and Renata explain what they went through in creating their works. Congratulations to you both. Renata, it seems to me that you made like very important learnings. The main one to me is acceptance of what is. And that's so important. Not only for things you cannot control, because I mean, life is like that, but not only accepting those facts or I mean, whatever happens to you, but be happy to have them. I mean, that is not, how can I say that? That shouldn't stop you from being happy or from living with joy. So that's something really important. I think I love your work, your paintings, your work with ink, and those little tiny silver specks. Beautiful. And Randi, I loved your video with yourself pouring earth on yourself and burying your feet, and then this tiny little plant at the end, such a message of hope. And you know, I'm a nature lover, and I can see that nature doesn't like void spaces. Even though something may seem like empty or dead, it is not. It doesn't stay like that forever. At some point, life is underneath and it comes out. It comes out. Beautiful work you did. Congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anik.
Many thanks, Anik. Many
Very
thanks.
much. Next.
Guido, okay.
Guido, please.
Yes, I have to add some words here. What is really interesting of both Randi and Renata is that this process, you went to the very simple elements to find kind of quietness and peace. Randi with the soil, something that has been sitting there next to you for probably many years, but suddenly you realize that it's there and it's something there, not just an empty pot with dead plants. And that is the process of discovery that sometimes takes many years. That means we that are a little older than all the rest of you, that means, well, as you see, we love nature. You can see our background behind now. But also with Renata, an equivalent process with the water, to put something in the water to see how these simple things I could try to control something, and the rest that just see what the elements on the meat. Also, I love to listen about the papayas. That is one of my most 3 favorite fruits, and that could be eaten very sweet or very hard and green to make papaya salad, something that very few people cut it when it's green. but it's that process of the flower and the fruit coming up. I think that both of you in your talk gave a very nice portrait of a feeling, how to going back to very simple elements. You could find fulfillment, continuity, and a different way to see art. I have to say, Andrea and Gavi, and the surrounding, I assume you have been there in the caves and the coastline by the house. It is an ideal environment to really look into the past and the present. Thank you.
Many thanks.
Thank you
Guido.
very much, Guido and
And
Cindy.
Cindy.
We love you a lot and miss you so much.
Well, we'll try to make it all the next ones now that we are more stable here in Eastern Long Island.
Yes, we miss you, really. We miss you. We miss you.
Well,
Someone else?
Eliana.
It was a very, I'd like to see the both of works of Renata and Randi. I think there is a great connection between them on the stands, and both of them remind me the ground, and Renata as the stands of stones, something like that, and Randi from earth, both inside earth, as they are buried inside earth. So I saw this connection between the things that are on the ground and are coming from life, being unburied from there. That's what I saw in both work, because Renata worked with water, and the stands were created in the water, but it happens inside earth with the forces of nature. So I saw these connections, and it was very interesting to see both works, and they have this power of the earth connecting them.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Eliana. Someone else would like
Jane,
to share?
Jane, you're
Very quiet.
very quiet.
Well, nice to see you both, and thank you to both Renata and Randi for sharing. Yes, I did highly encourage Randi to attend because I know what the experience is like, and I can see that she also broke out of her typical ways of working, which I think is so helpful and rewarding. And clearly Renata was experimenting as well. So I'll admit I'm a little envious. I'm keeping my eyes out because I would like to attend again. And, for me, it is, so rewarding to get out of your typical environment and shake things up. And that environment may just be your headspace. So it's just, I've missed attending these workshops, to hear the conversations live, which are often during when I'm working. So I was happy to have it at a time I could attend, and nice to see everybody again and see how inspired people are. So well done.
Thank you. Many thanks.
Thank you,
Really,
yeah.
Shane. Many thanks. Grace, yes.
Hello. Congratulations to both artists. I could see and I could feel two very deep experiences. Thank you for all. Congratulations, Gabriela and Andrea.
Thank you very much.
Many thanks. Many thanks, Grace. Renata or Randi, would you like to say something?
Well, thank you very much once again for making it all possible, for taking this out of us and giving it a visual form, because it's all thanks to you.
Well, no, it's not thanks to us, it's thanks to you, really. And the work that you have done for us really were both amazing, really amazing. And the process were very important. Both processes were very important, and we are very proud of the achievement that you made. That you not only the final work that is beautiful and fantastic, but the process indeed for us were very, very important. Both processes were so strong, heavy, and you put all from you. So we are very, very proud and very happy, really. Thank you. Thank you to you.
And thank you for everyone for coming and sharing your thoughts and what you received from Renata and myself in this program. And it was just, so it's really beautiful. And you are both very special, what you provide in this conversation, you are willing to continue to have. It's very unusual. And that's I have to say, and really fills my heart. So
many thanks, Randi. Really, we always say that we start these encounters at the beginning of the year with Grace in the first talking, in the first meeting. And we thought that it could be 2 or 3 meetings, but it was so wonderful that we continue. We are very encouraged to continue and more because we feel that is necessary, and we love the idea of make a big family all together and being in contact, and we feel that you are always there. So we want that you feel that we are always here to help you, to talk, to be with you. So we are really happy for this. Well, today I talked a lot also.
Yeah. And
Yes. Yes, please.
Melinda?
Yes.
Hi. I've enjoyed listening to the conversation, and what I really like was your juxtaposition of two artists, one with soil and one with the product of being in soil growth.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I think I've lost it. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, I just thought that was really touching.
Yes.
So thank you. Thank you.
No, many thanks to you, really. Many thanks to you. Well, I think I'm going to put everyone away. Well, Stanislao is there, but
we cannot see.
Not with video. So
I don't know, Stanislav, if you want, hello, my dear. I don't know if you want to tell something to your colleagues.
Are you talking to me?
No, to Stanislav.
That's what I thought.
Hello.
I'm trying to mute myself.
It's very nice to see you again. And I sadly came a bit late to the meeting, and I missed on the works, but I had an opportunity to see Renata's work, and I really want to congratulate you both on your work. And yeah, I totally agree that you are wonderful artists. It was a pleasure working with you during the seminar, and thank you very much to you both, and thank you to Andrea and Gabriel, because yes, you are amazing people. You find very best qualities in people that you're working with, and we can be all grateful for that.
We feel the same about you. I want to hear the final. See Renata too. When do we get to hear the what you are willing to share with us?
Yes.
I second that.
Yes.
Hopefully very soon, because I was just caught up with the work, right after I came back to Poland. It was just overloaded. So, but right now I'm looking at the process again, and I'm reevaluating it because yeah, both the seminar and the residence really opened up some like untapped energies that were in me, showed me some different perspectives, and I think I'm more flourishing now, and I have to reevaluate what I do. But it is a really nice process, but it takes time, and I want to give myself this time.
Okay, okay. Very anxious to see all the work, and really, as Randy said, very anxious. I don't know. Sorry, if what's her name?
I don't know.
Shani, sorry, I cannot see your name. If you have a question that you have talked before, is this Shani or I cannot see?
Here's Artist Initiative, but
Yes.
I don't know what's your name.
Oh, hi. I couldn't change that. It was the name of an organization that I'm involved in.
Don't worry, but
You're moving a lot.
I was wondering if you have a question or a concern, because it was not clear for me, sorry.
No, I had made a comment earlier, and I meant to, and I was trying to mute it afterwards. I had
Okay.
made that comment that I thought, I just like the juxtaposition of the way you put Randy and Renata together, where Randy was working, had evolved into questioning soil and the effects, and Renata, what happens, what comes out of the soil, product of soil.
Renata, I have a question for Renata real quick.
Okay,
yes. Do you find that it's still affecting you, this experience? Is it carrying on in the current work? Did it overflow? Or is it something that was just, this was the experience?
No, definitely. This is just the very beginning. This is the very beginning of the path. It just opened my eyes for what I had in front of me, and now I have to look at it.
Okay, thank you. I was just curious, Yeah, awesome.
Same for you, right? You feel the
Same for
same?
me.
I can
Yes.
sense it.
I have irreparable, the drawings have changed so much, and
Yes.
the thoughts. I'm not good with you are great with words, very poetic. I'm all feelings,
Fantastic. Many thanks, really many thanks. It's a pleasure to have the possibility also to have this recording online later, to have the possibility for the rest of the people to see it. So
the complete meeting through
yes.
our website.
Yes. So
because all the meeting was recorded.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know if someone would like to say something else. So, if not, I would like to ask Renata and Randy to say goodbye to us.
Goodbye, thank you.
Thank you for spending
You close the meeting.
Yes, today.
Ladies.
Yes. Thank you
Thank
to all.
you very
Thank
much
you,
to all,
everybody. So good to
especially
see you all.
Renata and Randy for all your words and your work.
And thank you to be there, really, to all of you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Para la próxima.
Goodbye, good night.
Bye.
Bye.